Hey there, all of my little G's. This is Mr. G, and today we're going to do a little bit of a project using Adobe Photoshop, and we're going to be using the pen tool and the shapes tools almost exclusively. And I'm also going to teach a couple more methods to kind of jazz up what we make. And today it's going to be a haunted house. All right, so what we're going to do is get started by opening Photoshop. And you're going to choose the preset photo right there. And then when it comes to size, the size that you're going to choose is the landscape 5x7. Just make sure that you're working with a 300 resolution and RGB color, and everything's going to be just fine. When you're done, push OK, and this is what you'll have. All right, so now that we have this, we've got to choose which house or haunted house we want. Now, all I did was I went to Google and I just did a Google search for haunted house photo, and I got plenty of them. All right, so now what I want for you guys to go ahead and do is find a haunted house that you like best. In my opinion, the ones that are straightforward, more straightforward, like this one where you just see it from the front. I don't have any weird angles. This one is good too. All right. I like this one a whole lot. And I'm just going to say right off the bat, this one's my favorite. It's got that decrepit look, and the windows kind of look like eyes, like it's staring at you. You know, this is creepy enough for me. So as you see, what I did was I clicked on the thumbnail, and what it did was it made this larger so that I could really check out the size. And it is 950 by 534, which is plenty big. I'm going to right click on it, and I'm going to copy the image, and I'm going to go ahead and minimize Chrome, and I'm going to come into Photoshop, and I'm going to go to edit and paste, which is right here. Or you could just push Control V. And there she is. Our beautiful haunted house. Well, maybe not so beautiful. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm going to use Control T while holding the shift bar. I'm going to take one of the corners and just kind of drag it down to where it's small, because I'm going to use this as my reference picture. Now, this reference picture is kind of important because I don't want to trace it. I just want to use it as a little bit of a guideline. Now, I'm going to go to my pen tool here, and using my pen tool, I'm going to go ahead and start making shapes. Now, if you look at it, this house is made of just nothing but shapes. Let me make it large so we can actually look at it. I've got a lot of rectangles. I've got a something right here that kind of looks like a rectangle with an eave hanging over. I've also got windows. I've got these arches here, which I'll be able to make with my pen tool. And I think for the most part, this is going to be kind of fun and kind of easy. The hardest part is going to be to layer everything so that it looks like a house when I'm done. Now, I do know that when I'm done with this, I'm going to have a lot of layers here, a lot of layers on top of this. So eventually, what you'll see is you'll have a lot of layers of shapes. But if you arrange them carefully enough, they're going to look like a house. So I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'm just going to show you a little bit at a time. To make the house itself, I'm going to use pre-made shapes. So I've got here the pen tool, but I'm not going to use it yet. What I like about using the pen tool is up here in the menu ribbon, I have easily at my disposal all of these pre-made shapes. Now, the pre-made shapes are kind of cool because you can use them without having to guess about with a pen tool whether your corners are lined up or not. If I make a rectangle, everything's lined up. So here I've got my first floor. And of course, remember, you can change your colors. Let me go ahead and start working with gray. I'm going to go with a nice dark gray, something down here. That's my first floor. Easy. Now I'm going to Control J, and use my move tool to move it up. Now I've got the second floor. Yeah, I'm cooking with oil now. So now that I've got these two together, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this picture some more and kind of figure out what I want. I'm going to make a roof now, and I'm going to make this little cupola or whatever you want to call it. That's it's obviously like a bedroom with a view. I'm going to put that up there, and then eventually I'm going to put the balcony that's for the second floor and all of the windows and doors. All right, so let's go ahead and just do them a piece at a time. I'm not going to do the whole thing, by the way. I'm just going to show you the basics of what I want. All right, so I've got the first floor and the second floor. Now I'm going to take my shapes tools, and I'm going to start creating the windows. So I've got one window here, but I'm going to make sure that that window is. Does that need to go up here? There we go. I'm going to make sure that that window looks as much like this one as possible. And for that to happen, what I need to do is I need to, and this is something we haven't done before, I need to right click and rasterize so that now it's a shape. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on it. I need to turn this into something that looks like a window. And doing that, I'm going to use my marquis tools. So I'm going to start by putting a line here, and I'm going to fill it with black. I'm going to put a line here and fill it with black. If you can't tell what I'm doing, I am creating a window frame. And of course, a really thin one going down the middle, and another really thin one going across. So I've got a window. Window number one. Now, excuse me, this window needs to stay right here. And I wanted to show you, though, we do have more than one window. I've got two windows up here on the second floor. So now I might as well take that window, which is all on one layer, and I can do Control J and make another one. So now I've got two windows. So easy, so much fun. All right, now that I've done that, I can zoom out. I'm gonna start doing the balcony. Now the balcony to me is super easy. There are two ways to do it. I'm going to go ahead and start a new layer. You can either use your selection tools and build yourself a balcony about right here. Let me turn off the first floor so I'll know I'm just about in the right place. And then you can fill it with gray. I'm going to use the same gray that's here. So let me get my eyedropper tool and select that color. Now I'm going to fill it completely with that color. And if I turn off everything else, you'll see that it's just a block of gray. But let me deselect this. In order to turn this into an actual, I don't know what you call them, railing, I guess you could call it. Yeah, railing. I'm going to create a selection here, and I'm going to push delete to cut holes in it. Move it over and click. It doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is a haunted house, which means it's all broken and messed up. And then once you get done going all the way across, you will have yourself, okay, that was really too close. You'll have yourself a nice old decrepit balcony that looks like if you lean on it, it will send you over the side. If you want, you can even make it to where it's missing one or two of these little railings. But like I said, the more imperfect, the better, because you want it to look really cool and creepy. All right, so let's say we are just about done. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn everything else back on and see what we've got. Now, the color of it is the same exact color as what we have before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Control U, and I'm going to darken it up. That way, it looks like it's in the shade or in the shadow, and it's slightly a different color from the rest. Now, if you wanted to lighten it up, you could do that too. But me personally, I'm going to go with darker. All right, so now that I've done that, you know how to do the actual railings on the house. And then you can also do the railing that's in the front. Next, I'm going to show you how to make the door and the roof. Now, the door and the roof are both with the pen tool. So remember that this is not going to be super easy. No, super easy. It's not going to be super perfect. It's an old house. So I'm going to kind of look at my picture, and I'm going to create the same kind of effect. I'm going to start here, then down here. Then I'm going to go out a bit, across, then right here, and we're almost done. And as you can tell, there are lines that go all the way down it to kind of make it look like it's got a tin roof on it. I'm okay with that. I'll let you do that however you want. Now, this right here in the front is kind of a lookout third floor bedroom, kind of where you would find a ghost. Not going to lie, it does look kind of creepy. Now, this is the roof. So I'm going to go a little bit lighter on the roof. And I like that. And if you want, you can add shadow details like we did on the pumpkin. That's cool. But I want to come in here with my pen tool and also create that little lookout. And now it goes way above the house. It goes like this. Goes down. And there it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and double click on the color, and I'm going to go play with the gray so that it looks even lighter or darker than the rest of the house so that you can kind of differentiate. And I'll let you use the same tools that we did here to make your windows. Now, when you're done with everything, I want you to keep adding details. Now, the next thing we do after we finish the house is we start putting a background. So in order to do a background, I'm going to go ahead and click on the background and add a new layer. And what I want you to do this time is I want you to get your lasso tool, your regular lasso, and I want you to create a selection that kind of looks like kind of a mountainous background. And I'm going to go all the way around with this and make a selection. Now, what I'm going to do is fill it with a, I don't know, let's say with a really, really dark gray, and do Alt backspace to fill it. So now I've got a nice spooky background. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. And I'm going to go to the background, add a new layer. This time I'm going to add my sky. But my sky is going to be kind of spooky. I'm going to go with my foreground to background gradient tool. So I'm going to start with a dark purple. And I'm going to go to an almost black. Blue. So now I've got purple and blue, and I'm going to use my linear gradient tool. And here are my foreground and my background. And I'm going to go from the middle of the screen up and just let go. And now I've got a nice creepy background. Now I'm going to do the same thing where I just add a new layer. And by the way, I'm just making sure that all this is underneath the layers of the house so that you're not covering the house. And I'm going to do a moon. Now, this moon is going to be a lot like the moon that we've done before. I'm going to go ahead and start with my pen tool and look for the ellipse. And I'm going to put a moon here. And I'm going to make it nice and large. And I'm going to double click on my color picker and make it kind of a gray color. And if you want, you can go in with your paintbrush and actually paint on it, but you'd have to rasterize first. So I'm going to rasterize it, and I'm going to take my paintbrush, and I'm going to go ahead and paint a little bit in there. Well, I guess I should actually choose the color I want. And I'm going to paint with a little bit lighter of a gray than what I've got there. Just kind of put marks on it. It doesn't look great. It doesn't look perfect, but it's there. All right, so now I've painted on the moon layer. I think I'm getting there little by little. Next, I need to add trees. Now, the trees, basically all you have to do is either get your paintbrush or get your pen tool and just start building a tree. And make sure that you do it on a new layer. Now, I could keep going and going, but honestly, it would take forever. So I'm just going to show you what I want as an end result right here. This is one that I created a little bit earlier. I created a nice mountainy background. I also created a big moon, and I added little touches like, I don't know, headstones. I made sure the tree had a nice shadow that falls on there. I'm going to teach you how to do all that next, and then I'm going to let you do this on your own. Okay, so in order to do the nice soft background that looks like it's far away, it's a real easy fix. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the moon. I go to the moon layer, and I go to filter, and I go to blur, and then I'm going to choose a Gaussian blur. Now, with a Gaussian blur, what it does is it blurs it so that it looks like it's far away. I'm going to go ahead and check off preview so that I can see the work that I've done. All right, so now right here it's set at radius 1.0. I'm going to crank it up until it looks nice and almost like you're looking through a misty or foggy night. And I'm going to push OK. Now, it looks weird to have a faraway moon but really clear mountains. So I'm going to take the mountain layer and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go to filter, go to blur, Gaussian blur, and I'm going to give it the same amount. Well, if you can tell, it remembered the amount of blur that I put on it already. So I push OK, and now I've got a really crisp, clear house, but the background looks kind of out of focus. That's cool. That's what I want. Now, after you've done your doors and you've done your tree and you've added little touches, I don't know, put jack-o'-lanterns around it, which, by the way, I would like you to put a jack-o'-lantern or two on that porch now that you know how to do it. Then you'll be able to turn it in as a JPEG, and of course, leave your picture down here so I can see just how close you came to getting it to the real thing. And you will get a good grade because you are little G's. All right, so I'm going to leave you with that. I've shown you pretty much the foundations of it. After you've made one window, you can make them all. After you've made one of these shapes, you can make them all. And I've already shown you how to do the moon, the sky, and the background here. So, having said that, I just wanted to wish you good luck. Everyone, have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing all of your work. Little G's, I'm out.